Hello.
Hey, what's up?
Oh, looks like Rob's in a bad mood, everyone.
How are you?
What's that, like a fourth of your stuff that's at K's?
Well, I didn't want to bring a bunch of bags with me.
That's fine.
Rob, I can't help but notice that you're in a bad mood and something is bothering you, and I know that because you're always in a bad mood and something is always bothering you. Alright, you know what, Sophie? Since you brought it up, I'm just gonna come out and say it. I may have online cheated with like 50 people, but you come back into my house, you use up all my toilet paper. I didn't sign up for a wife who just tears my heart out and then steals all my toilet paper. Are you or are you not reading the list of demands I gave you? What do we got here? Rule number 26, a roll and a half of toilet paper each week. A roll and a half, Sophie.
Washing off dishes before putting in the sink.
Yes.
Putting dirty clothes in bin. Put makeup and hair products back after use.
That's an important one.
Don't get mad at me when you don't get what you want. Be patient and I'll likely work it out for you. Remember that we're trying to move forward and don't focus on the past.
Yeah, that's right. Everyone thinks I'm a knob, but it turns out y'all were underselling me. At the end of the last season, Rob and Sophie finally tied the knot. Jeez. They moved out of Rob's garage and into a new place together, and then Rob decided to immediately cheat on her with like 500 people online. The dude just can't help but send his junk all over the internet. Apparently this is what he loves, this is what he lives for, and he did it all on his own. He ruined his entire marriage in front of the entire world all on his own, so I guess he should be proud of that. Anyway, today we're going to be going through everything that has happened to them so far on this season of Happily Ever After. This is likely to be pretty long, so you might want to buckle up for this one. But before we get into everything, we're just going to have a quick word from today's sponsor, Vessi. I don't know about you, but I live in a pretty rainy climate, especially this time of year, and there's nothing worse than stepping in a puddle and getting a wet sock. It ruins your day. It's game over. Wherever you were planning on going, you better turn around because you're not going anymore, not with a wet sock, especially if it's cold out. Well, I haven't had to worry about that for a little bit because Vessi's shoes are comfortable and waterproof. And if you're someone like myself who enjoys going on walks and hikes and maybe plays a little bit of disc golf every now and then, you will definitely end up in a scenario at some point where you could have used some comfortable waterproof shoes. Literally the first day I put these on, I tossed my disc into a puddle and it would have been a disaster with regular shoes. And nobody wants to wear boots all the time, so this is a great alternative. Not to mention they come in a variety of styles for different occasions, all of which I've found to be very comfortable. I even have a friend who has a pair of the weekend sneakers who has been liking them a lot. If you're interested in getting your own pair, you can head on over to vessi.com/quickslice for 15% off your first order. Again, that's vessi.com/quickslice for 15% off your first order. Alright, anyway, now let's watch Rob destroy his life some more. Like I said earlier, these two ended up getting married, but Rob barely made it through the honeymoon before he started cheating again. Sophie decided to leave him and move in with one of her friends, but it wasn't long before Rob reeled her back in.
So it's just like, I don't know, it's just been a lot and it's unfortunate it hasn't worked out how I wanted it to. It's still weird for me to like not live with my husband.
Oh, there he is.
My husband Rob was someone I met online on social media.
Oh, come on, why do
We
they have to
basically
show
started
this?
messaging because I thought he was cute and I guess he thought I was cute.
What the hell is this? Is this a picture of Sophie? Is that what I'm supposed to be looking at here? At no point have I seen this person on this show. I don't know who this is, but it's not Sophie.
Mine and Rob's first phone call went really well. It lasted like 8 hours and it felt like we had an instant connection.
God, imagine being on the phone with Rob for 8 hours. That sounds more like a challenge than anything.
Sophie and I met online through just social media.
TikTok.
I thought she was beautiful, and I told her, I'm gonna basically marry you.
Yo, Sophie, I'm gonna like basically marry you, and then I'm gonna basically cheat on you, and then basically your life's gonna be ruined. Do you wanna like ride into the sunset together or not, Sophie? Because otherwise, I'm doing this shit all on my own. I can't, you know, it kind of takes two of us to do this.
Soon after we got married, we decided to get a fresh start. Sophie and I and my dog Rome, we all moved to Austin, Texas. But just a few months after we moved, the fighting continued. And Sophie decided to go move out and live with her new best friend in Austin.
Notice how all he says is the fighting continued and he fails to take accountability for his part in everything. Even when he does admit the things he's done wrong, he refers to the cheating as online cheating, which is already just downplaying what happened. It sounds like he was receiving and possibly sending nudes, so that's definitely cheating whether or not it's online.
It's like at the end of the day, the 90 days, it worked against us more than you could ever know.
Yeah, the 90 days was the problem.
Like, it wasn't enough time to understand where we were.
Oh yeah.
It wasn't enough time to be sure about where we were.
There wasn't enough time for me to hide all the evidence on my phone. I mean, come on. But it's all good because at the end of the day, at the end of the 90-day fiancé,
Like at the end of the day, the 90 days,
it's hilarious that he's trying to act as if the 90-day limit had any part to play in why their relationship is so terrible. Is he trying to say then if they had more time, he wouldn't have had a tantrum in the ring shop? If he had more time, he wouldn't have cheated? He wouldn't have argued about a duvet?
I tried to put Rob's cheating behind me, but shortly after I moved to Austin, I saw that he had got this text from some random girl.
Man.
So I figured out a way to get into Rob's social media to find out what was really going on.
I like how she says she figured out a way into his social media, like she hacked into it or something, when in reality she probably just picked up his phone when he wasn't paying attention. I mean, if he was talking to as many people as she claims, his phone must have been going off 24/7. Who has time to do all this? That's what I always wonder. You know who? A 33-year-old knob with no job.
And that's how I found out that he was actually talking to, like, way more girls than he had admitted to. So he lied to me about the extent of his online cheating.
Even she is saying online cheating, like it's just cheating. And he's obviously just going to keep doing it if you give him chance after chance every single time this happens. Not only has Rob not learned his lesson or taken any accountability, but he's actually waiting for her to apologize in this situation. So anyway, Rob just keeps venting to his friend about Sophie, and then he's worried that she might be cheating on him with her new friend that she's living with. And then Rob's friend is like, yo, you think she's a lesbian? And Rob is like, I don't know, she might be. And I thought we went over this. I thought she already explained what her sexuality was. I think Rob is just so insecure that he's worried he turned her off of men completely. So anyway, next, Sophie and Rob meet up again, and she gives him one final chance for the final time. This is definitely it, okay? I promise. You better not cheat anymore, Rob. If you online cheat 6 or 7 more times, we're done.
We can start to work towards the future. I just want to be in a loving relationship with somebody that I love, that I'm not ready to walk away from.
But also, like, what am I supposed to do with all these Instagram DMs?
I'll do anything I can to win Sophie over.
At this point, I'll do whatever I can to save this relationship. Whatever doesn't require that much effort. Like the least amount of effort I can put into while still saving the relationship, you know? Maybe I could pick some flowers and then give her a list of things that she needs to do to make me happier. Everyone dreams of getting a list of demands from their husband. That's just so romantic.
Like I kind of look at it like it's like a video game. Like you start off with 5 hearts, your health, your energy, all that. You got 5 hearts, and I'm down to the last one. I got 1 left.
Rob, you should have put more points into charisma. That was very deep and thought-provoking, Rob. I like your little video game analogy. But to be consistent with his analogy, doesn't that mean that he depleted his own hearts? Like he just jumped off a cliff 7 times and got injured, and he's like, shit, I have low health now. Damn it, Sophie, what did you do? Why do I have low health now?
Hello.
Hola, chica.
Ugh.
How are you?
I'm good. How you doing?
I didn't,
You look
because I
nice.
didn't even recognize you. I'm like, oh.
He looks the exact same, like literally the exact same. So they meet up at this place called a selfie room or something like that. I don't know, I've never heard of it, but apparently it's where you go to take Instagram pictures. And then Rob reveals to Sophie that he still has her wedding ring. And the more this goes on, the more I'm convinced that he thinks his life is that of a Lord of the Rings character. Last season, he was talking about moving into a hobbit hole with Sophie, and now he's keeping hidden secret rings.
You know it's at home.
What?
Your wedding ring.
I knew you had it.
Damn you,
I
Rob.
knew it.
You know why I have it?
Oh my God, I feel so much better. I thought I lost it. And I didn't want to tell you because I knew you took it.
The ring is mine.
I didn't take it. You just
Yes,
know
you
that if
did.
I bet Rob was going around sulking with the ring, trying to get sympathy points because his wife left him. Whether or not he kept it there on purpose, I'm sure he knew that at some point that might be a reason for her to come back. It blows my mind that she continues to put up with him when he never genuinely apologizes for the things that he did wrong. I don't know why she would then ever expect him to change if he downplays what he did and still doesn't fully understand how he hurt her.
I mean, you moved out 2 months ago, right?
Because
right?
of you, of other issues.
Because of me, what?
Yeah, what did Rob ever do,
I didn't
huh?
do anything that was
You
like...
didn't do anything, okay?
This guy just gets worse and worse. You'd think after having 2 months apart to reflect on what he did, he might start to understand more why she left. You'd think that he might be a bit more apologetic and try to fix things from here on out, but instead he is just as defensive and argumentative as the day she left. The energy that he has for this has not gone down at all. It seems like Rob doesn't really have a cool down period, he just holds on to things forever.
What, a month after we got married, you did a factory reset on my phone.
What did I find?
You found conversations.
I found
all these texts, all these other girls on your phone from the whole 4 years.
Here's to 4 more years.
It was like
4
50
more
bitches on your phone.
So it sounds like Rob wasn't honest about the extent of his cheating, and she figured this out when she did some sort of factory reset on his phone. I don't really know how that works, and he's acting like just because it's in the past now, it doesn't matter, even though he never told her about it. I could be remembering incorrectly, but I think he just told her it was like a one-time thing with a few different girls just a few months before she moved there. But now it sounds like it was an almost non-stop thing the entire time they were together, and it was a lot more than a few.
It was literally girls who hit me up, tell me I'm cute, or tell me, you know, just to try to have like a conversation.
Wait, is that supposed to make it better?
What I've realized
These
is
little small interactions.
you cannot.
Sophie, oh my god, you're overreacting so much. It was literally just some girls online that said I was cute, and then I responded and I said they were cute, and then we talked for a while longer, and then we started sexting, and then they sent a nude, and then I decided to send it.
I didn't want to tell you, oh, I've had some small conversations with women over the years.
You should have been honest.
I didn't want to do that, so I lied. That's the only time I lied.
Okay.
It would be completely different if you just tried to be honest with me and say, look, I'm really sorry, I messed up. I would have been accepting of that because at least you was honest.
Hey, I'm Rob, okay? I don't just mess up or do things wrong. It's usually more complicated than that. Everything I do is flawless, and everything I do is because I love you, Sophie. I know that sounds like it doesn't make any sense, but let's just pretend it does for forever.
First of all, I'm sorry that I had conversations with any women.
Conversations, okay.
That's what else were they? No, they weren't physical.
No,
they
okay,
weren't
no,
emotional.
downplay it, but continue.
I'm not. How am I down? I'm the you say is just like you just be reaching.
That is certainly not reaching. All of the language he's using is absolutely downplaying the whole thing. Instead of saying sexual or inappropriate conversations, he just says conversations, and she calls him out on that, and he's like, well, what do you want me to call them? They weren't physical. I didn't meet up with them. They weren't emotional. Even if those things are true, the fact that he's focusing on that is very telling. Like, he got called out for cheating, and his response is, well, at least it wasn't worse. It could have been even worse, so you have nothing to complain about. That is basically the definition of downplaying, and now he's gaslighting her by saying that's not the case.
That's what makes it so hard.
Because if you're gonna come in here and act like you moved out, you just want to party with your no, say your side too. There's two sides to it.
No, never.
But you're not taking any accountability for what you did.
You want me to just say sorry? Just apologize? That's what you want? You want that? You're nuts. You just want to hear a word, that's it. You know what speaks louder than words, Sophie? Actions. And my actions are equally non-existent. You don't just judge a person based on their actions or their words. That's not fair. You gotta just judge me blindly based on what I say.
I would like for you to come home so that we could try to work our out.
It's very tempting when you put it that way, Rob. Look, I know I've been an asshole, but just come home already so we can work our shit out. Jeez.
In my opinion, you're the same as before 2.5 months ago.
That's not fair at all.
What? That's more than fair.
Sophie, I'm
not talking about it
literally
right now.
here apologizing.
When did you apologize? Did I look away? Do I have amnesia?
I met up with Sophie tonight, hoping that she would come home with me and that we could start getting our marriage back on track. But once again, I'm watching her walk out and walk a whole different direction from me.
Yeah, and why is that, Rob? Why is that happening? Have you ever given that a thought? How is this guy the victim in every situation? He wants us to watch that and feel bad for him, like, oh no, she's walking out on him again, the poor guy. When in reality, he's lucky that she has put up with him as long as she has. Most people would be out by now. So anyway, then Rob goes home by himself, and then he sits and stares at her wedding ring for a few hours. He's not reflecting on anything. I think he's just sitting and feeling bad for himself. Either that or he's role-playing as Gollum. And then it cuts to Sophie, and she's talking to her mom, and she's like, Mom, Rob is being such a knob. What do I do? And her mom's like, you gotta divorce the guy. He's the worst. And then Sophie's like, yeah, but I think I'm gonna give him like a 30th chance. So despite all of that, the very next day, Sophie is on her way to Rob's apartment. When she walked in and I saw the notebook and the flowers, I was like, oh my god, no way. Rob wrote a poem. This is gonna be great. But even though it's probably going to be really cringeworthy, at least it's a step in the right direction and shows that he somewhat cares about her enough to do something for her. But apparently, even up until this point, I had way too high of expectations for Rob, because this is not a poem. Like I said earlier, this is a list of demands.
Those flowers, I had to stop mid-traffic, jumped out in the rain, ran over, and probably technically stole them off of somebody's bush.
Alright. I don't know how you mess up giving flowers to someone, but he messed it up. And of course he has some dramatic story about how he got the flowers. Like, can't you just do something nice and leave it at that?
What is this?
That's just a list of things I think would be very helpful from you to help us cohabitate.
I don't even know where to begin because there are so many things wrong with this. He barely even greeted her when she came in, and now this is the first thing he's showing to her. Every time she gives him another chance, he's like, oh yeah, how about now? And then he does like the douchiest thing on the planet. Rob seems to be getting progressively worse every episode. He's evolving, but backwards.
I thought it was gonna be like a love letter or something.
I don't have that kind of time.
Like I saw the flowers on it. I thought it was gonna be something really
Oh,
cute.
okay.
The flowers is the love letter. This is more directed towards us like getting along on a daily basis.
The flowers are not a love letter. The flowers are flowers. A love letter is a love letter. A creepy list of demands is a creepy list of demands. At this point, he's made it clear that the flowers are just an empty gesture as well. Sophie keeps talking about how she wishes Rob could just be sweet like he used to, but I'm not sure that ever happened.
Washing off dishes before putting in the sink. Putting dirty clothes in bin. Put makeup and hair products back after use.
So those are just incredibly small things that have absolutely nothing to do with their actual problems right now. Not to mention, she just stepped through the door and he's already telling her to wash the dishes. This should be the last thing that he's bringing up or talking about right now.
Don't get mad at me when you don't get what you want. Be patient and I'll likely work it out for you. Remember that we're trying to move forward and don't focus on the past.
I can't get over the smug look on his face when she's reading this. It sounds really controlling because he's kind of saying that she doesn't have a right to get mad at him, and if something happens, like if they have a conflict, she should just let him figure it out, which means be quiet and listen to what he says.
What is the point of this? Is I get to do this. You're basically just telling me to clean up after myself.
And don't get mad at me.
Which would be really...
Okay. That is not even ever brought up in our arguments or anything that we have going on.
Hey, I may have cheated, but you left a dish out on the counter overnight. Don't even try to deny it. I saw that shit. How could you do that, Sophie? How could you do that to me? After all we've been through, I forgive you, okay? So there's no need to get upset. I don't understand why you can't do the same for me.
Our priorities up here, my being a little messy with my makeup and stuff is like down there.
This is a piece of some of the bigger problem. Yes,
The
we
big
have bigger
problem,
problems.
I left because of you.
Rob still doesn't seem to have figured out that she's the one who left, not him. And he said it's a piece of the bigger problem, and the bigger problem was his cheating and lying. What does that have to do with this? Is he saying that if she was less messy and she cleaned up her dishes more, then he wouldn't have cheated?
Like, I'm literally just trying to find ways for us to have less issues. Why can't you just clarify for me what I can do? Because I don't want to have these interactions because
Stop
these
online
interactions...
cheating on me.
Alright, well that's just flat out not gonna happen. Now you're talking nonsense, Sophie. Every time you leave a dish out, it hurts me a little bit more inside. Every dish, one person for every dish. If you want, we could have some sort of compromise on a woman to dish ratio. Like, you know, maybe you leave 3 dishes out, I talk to one woman online, you leave 8 dishes out, she sends me a nude. Hey, come on, why are you giving me that look? I'm coming up with solutions. I'm a solution-oriented person. You're a problem-oriented person. You're focusing on the negative. All you do is talk about the cheating, and all you did was focus on the list I gave you. You didn't even say thanks for the flowers, you know, the flowers that I stole from somebody's roadside memorial and got chased down by the family. I did that for you. I did all of this for you. I got out my little notebook, I got out a pen, and I saved our marriage. I saved our marriage here in that notebook today, and you didn't even say thanks.
Stop controlling me.
How am I controlling?
Dude, you literally just gave her a list of shit to do the moment she walked in the door after she was gone for 2 months because you cheated on her.
I
Do you
encourage
or do you not count the toilet roll papers of how many I've used?
Oh shit, the cat's out of the bag now. I love how you could tell by the way she brings this up that it's been an issue numerous times, like she's had to tell him to stop counting the damn toilet paper. He is absolutely flabbergasted when she brings that up. He's like, I can't believe you just said that, Sophie. That was the one thing we said we weren't going to talk about.
Because you literally use a whole roll
Okay,
every
I'm a
day.
woman. Women use more toilet paper than men.
Okay, but that's just very inconsiderate.
Yeah, Sophie, stop being inconsiderate.
Counts toilet roll papers of people using it. That's
uses a whole
weird.
roll of toilet paper in a day?
So she wanted to have an honest discussion about Rob's dishonesty, but now they're arguing about toilet paper. How did we get here? Make it make sense. How is it not more inconsiderate to count and limit someone's toilet paper use?
It's not a day.
You'll literally sit in the bathroom and just hang out in the bathroom for hours. So you doing this
Okay.
for hours, using a whole roll of
I'm
toilet
just
paper,
saying,
how
Kay,
dare I
Kay
think that
doesn't
you should do
monitor
that little
my
differently?
toilet.
Sophie, this is just way too much. First, you're bisexual, then you leave a dish out on the counter, and now you're just sitting around unrolling toilet paper all day? How am I supposed to deal with this? What's next? Are you gonna leave one of the lights on all night? Is that what's coming? Is that what I have to get ready for? Because that wastes electricity.
I feel like if I stay over, we're gonna argue.
Okay, I'm sorry that I made a list, but
Stay over.
No.
It takes one thing for one of us to start arguing.
to stay over?
Yeah, she'd have to be crazy to leave all of this and not stay here, because Rob is just such a warm and welcoming person. Even when he does apologize or say sorry, he never actually says it to her, he kind of just yells it at her. So then after like 10 minutes of being there for the first time in 2 months, she has to leave because he's the worst.
That's not it.
It is new. Saw you yesterday. You gave me a little one-arm hug. You don't think I noticed all this?
Okay.
Are you kidding me? He's complaining that she only one arm hugged him, even though he didn't hug her back at all. I don't think this guy has ever considered anyone else's point of view but his own. And I know that sounds pretty extreme, but I genuinely can't think of one time where he was actually nice, understanding, and empathetic towards her, which should be like the bare minimum in a marriage. So anyway, then Sophie shuts the door and turns the knob and leaves Rob alone to sob and sob. So they meet up again a few days later, and Rob has at least figured out to not give her a to-do list this time, and he did actually write a poem.
You deserve love every single day in every little and big way. So here's my vow that I'll keep to. I'll do my part in loving you. Let me give you the love you deserve. Let me in and let love preserve. Together we'll make a lifetime of memories and build this road to endless possibilities.
Yeah, I'm not convinced at all. So things are finally going okay for a little bit, and then Sophie reveals that one of her guy friends from England is coming to visit. Since she wasn't living with Rob, she made this plan without telling him, and now it's going to happen the next day, so he's just finding out now. Of course, if you're trying to work on your marriage, this is a terrible idea, but do I feel bad for Rob? Do I care at all? No, it's hilarious. He brought all of this on himself, and whether or not it was the right decision for Sophie to make, I can't really blame her.
You know Callum?
Your friend from England?
Yes. Callum's coming
Coming where?
to meet us
When?
tomorrow, and I want you to meet him.
This is amazing because there's literally no chance that this goes well. 0%. They can't even get along with each other. Why the hell would he get along with one of her guy friends? How could it possibly go well if you threw another douche into the mix? What is this, a 2-for-1 deal?
I don't even think I wouldn't fly across the ocean to go see my best guy friend.
It's not necessarily flying across the ocean to see me. He was coming to America anyway.
What does this guy look like?
Oh man, the insecurity is strong. Obviously, if he was secure with himself and their relationship, he wouldn't be worried about what the guy looks like. And even though this is a little weird, if he was already planning to come to America and he's just stopping to see Sophie for a few days and they're just hanging out together in public, I don't really see the big deal. I'm pretty sure Rob is going to be there the entire time. Well, unless he has a tantrum and storms out like he has many times before.
If this dude doesn't look like Gollum, then I don't like it.
You're Gollum.
Okay, well, he's coming to visit anyway, so it's a good opportunity for you to show that you are able to fit into my life and be okay with the people that are important to me.
So he's basically saying that if the guy is ugly, he's totally fine with it. This couldn't be more revealing. And what's shocking is he doesn't even seem to understand how insecure he is. At one point earlier that I didn't show, Sophie said that he needs to go to therapy, and I think that's 100% true. He has some serious shit to sort out, and he's in complete denial of all of it.
How you doing? Nice to meet you.
All right, well, that was nice. Let's go.
It's been so long since I've seen you.
I know, it's been like years.
What, do you think you're better than me? So guess what? It turns out that Rob and Callum don't become best buds. Can you believe that? Oh, and also, Sophie and Callum have hooked up before. Oh, and also, Callum still has feelings for her. Who saw any of this coming?
My first impressions of Callum is he looks smug. Like he probably thinks he's better than me.
Holy shit, he actually said it. What, do you think you're more smug than me, Callum? Nobody's more smug than me. So I don't know anything about Callum, but just by default, any random person has a very decent chance of being better than Rob, and I think deep down, Rob probably knows this, and that's why he's so insecure.
Yeah, so Texas, you enjoying it?
Yeah, it's nice.
Hey, I'm still here too.
Do you remember how much fun it was in Portugal, though?
What, do you think you're better
Yeah,
than me?
I miss Portugal.
That was
I want to
so
bring him
much
to
fun.
Portugal. He would love it.
Wait a minute, did Sophie and Callum meet in Portugal, or did they go to Portugal together? Either way, I think Callum is very much enjoying making Rob as uncomfortable as possible. And something tells me that Rob is never going to want to go to Portugal.
Oh, definitely.
What was so fun about Portugal?
It was just like a beautiful... You would absolutely love
It's
Portugal.
amazing there.
The
We used to
food.
wingman each other so much when we were younger. It was brilliant. We'd go out all the time. Either she'd wingman me, I'd wingman her.
Oh, it was great, you know? We'd be each other's wingman. We'd wingman the shit out of each other. We wingmanned all night one time. So you have nothing to worry about. We've always just been good friends, you know?
So how have you been finding it with Rob?
It's good. Wait, it's... Rob, answer it for me.
Oh, that's a great sign.
We're working our out.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, I just know she's had some bad taste in men before, and I just don't want that to be the case if she's going to be with you for a long time.
Look, she's been with me before, so I know the kind of guys that she usually picks, and she has a terrible taste. So after this, they reveal to Rob that they dated for a short period of time in Portugal.
I mean, we're like 16, 17. It's like when
I
you're
was
young.
very young.
Yeah. But then ever since then, it's been platonic. It's been good friends ever since.
Oh, how cute. They're having the least amount of physical contact possible. So obviously this is very upsetting news for Rob because he feels like she lied to him about this. Remember, when something happens to Rob, it's much worse. I don't know how, but it is. He can lie all day long, but if someone lies to him, well, that's not fair. So then, predictably, Rob gets upset and storms off, and Callum is loving every minute of this. But anyway, I think that's where we're going to end the video today. The season isn't even halfway over yet, and Rob may have already out-knobbed himself from the last time. But yeah, thank you so much for watching, everyone. I really hope you enjoyed the video. Also, if you'd like to see over an hour of content on Jersey Shore, or over an hour of content on TCAP videos, or over an hour of content on 90 Day that's not on YouTube, you can head on over to Patreon. Lastly, I just want to say thanks again to Vessi for sponsoring today's video. But yeah, that's all I got. So I hope you all have a wonderful weekend, and I'll see you next time.
That's just a list of things I think would be very helpful from you to help us cohabitate.
I thought it was gonna be like a love letter or something.
I've been trying to be perfect, but I'm not perfect, man. I'm not. Like, man, I'm not perfect.